we are good to go. All right, so let me make sure I got my stuff pulled up for here. All right, looks like we're good to go all around. So welcome everybody. Let me preface this by saying power and profit to you all in regards to our good buddy African Emporium, aka Willis. For those of you who don't know or have never been a part of this channel before, this channel is Own the Chaos. My name is Brad and I run a YouTube channel mainly focused around over-the-counter stocks, but I also provide a free platform where others can learn and grow and celebrate each other's success. It's called WeTradeHQ.com. And my whole vision behind WeTradeHQ was to not only just focus on penny stocks and over-the-counter stuff, but all types of trading, no matter what area on the market you are trading, whether you're trading big board stocks, or you do shorting and options like Willis does here, cryptocurrency, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're trading in the stock market, we want WeTradeHQ to be the place for you. Willis, thanks for taking the time to tune in or to come in and do an interview with me tonight. Basically, just kind of wanted to highlight some things with you and for our folks at home on what it is that you do. And just to kind of give you a preface to this, Willis does have a mentorship with us on WeTradeHQ. It's about $30 a month. It really pays for itself over and over as far as I'm concerned. But it's a mentorship, and it's just that. We were going to get into a little bit. I had an interesting conversation with him prior to going live about just the difference between a guru and a mentorship, which I thought his insight was great on. So welcome, Willis. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks as well, Brad. Again, happy to be here with you guys. As I always say, power and profit to everyone. Uncle Justin, bless me, life, prosperity, and health to you all. Excited to be here again, part of the WeTrade HQ family. Some of you guys have seen me in the Discord room, if not in WeTrade HQ, where you need to be all the time. You may see me across other Discord rooms as well, or social media, obviously being Twitter or Stock Twits, whatever, when they're not suspending my account. So, right? But outside of that, again, my premise is, again, I stand on the value of, we come together to commune to, in essence, as a think tank, to help one another become, more knowledgeable in terms of this industry as a trader or as an investor. So, have an opportunity to come and be a part of the WeTrade family with Brad, Jake, and the rest of the family here, you guys as well. I always look at you guys as my peers. There's no such thing as someone's better than the next person. We all at this together trying to accomplish a goal. I find it just to be, like the most, wonderful thing ever, where you can come to a platform like a Discord, and or from there go to the WeTrade HQ site itself and find other people who are thinking and moving just like you and get some good knowledge from it. So, with that being said, again, I'm excited to be here with the family and learn from you guys as well. Share what I know.
That's awesome. Thanks. So yeah, I love that you put that out there for everybody, that it's more of like a think tank, and it's nice to see that there's other people learning and growing, and that there isn't one person, and that you're a peer. And that's why we chose to have you to be part of the WeTrade family as far as our circle of mentors is concerned, just because of that attitude, that mentality of there isn't that one person that's better than the other. Everybody has their own little niches, their own little, their strengths, and so that's what they play to, and that's what we offer. And so no matter if you're trying to learn penny stocks, you're trying to learn Willis's strategies and styles of trading, we want to be able to help you in whatever you're looking to get your learn on. And so let's touch on that a little bit, Willis. How long have you been trading, and what kind of trading do you actually do?
Well, solidly, 3 years at it from the aspect of getting at from a day trade perspective, and I would say from a more perspective where I'm saying this is like, okay, I can really focus on this, having the time to do it. I really kicked it off really big in 17, where I said, this is something that if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it. I'm gonna do it right. And basically, what I was saying in that moment is here it is. I have a newborn kid. Again, I was a stay-at-home parent. The missus is, military personnel. So it was like, well, how am I going to do this with a little kid in my arms, right? and still be successful, or find some success in it to where I want to devote my time to it. Outside of that, obviously, I was already running a business. Again, outside of that, I have African specialty shop. So also doing museum tours.
Hence the name African Emporium.
Yes. Hence the
People
name
are probably
Emporium.
wondering where that came from. So
right. Right. Also being a charter member of the Smithsonian, so I was doing museum tours as well.
oh, that's awesome. I didn't even know that.
Yep. We did the Mets. We do the Mets in New York, the Reginald F. Lewis down in Baltimore, and also the National African American Museum, also in D.C. So I was doing tours with that, just trying to structure some value within that as well. Because obviously I'm a big history buff in my own right.
Yeah.
I enjoy history and just knowledge in terms of cultural expansion and things of that nature. So it kind of fit right in with what I like to what I do in terms of, again, we're constantly seeking information, we're constantly seeking knowledge, we're constantly trying to build on ourselves, expound on information to be better as humans and especially now I feel as traders. And so to me it was like, okay, I have the most unique catalyst of all times. Again, here's a little kid in my arm.
Right.
Try to navigate that and also be attentive to the market, be attentive to information, be attentive to the things that that make us successful every day in terms of technical fundamentals, being able to get news on the whim. And I started out kind of like you are today still, you're mastered the OTC market. I was doing a lot of OTC stocks. That was kind of like on the tail end of when the marijuana stocks were kind of slowing down just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was catching those what was some of the ones I've actually still have some of them in my portfolio, but CBIS.
Oh yeah.
OWCP.
Oh yeah, OWCP, man, that thing went crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of my biggest ones.
That thing went nuts.
Yeah,
that made a lot of people rich on that one.
You're right. So again, the big move with that, and it's weird too, because some of the other traders I was trading with at that time in the other room, one of my guys named Sal. We had some guys that was in it, it was like, basically, dirt cheap, 00, whatever. And when you make that big move, I'm sure you was around at the time to make that big move.
Yeah.
Great payout. And from, literally those values and understanding, that you can take an asset like an OWCP, that's trading it pretty much 00 or whatever, and it could easily, in the right setting, in the right moment, make a move and get into a dollar space or $2 space.
Yeah, and that's actually what happened. So that if you guys aren't familiar, you can go back and look at the chart of OWCP, but it literally started in sub penny and went to I think it was $2.50 or $3.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Like, that's an insane amount of money. I mean, you could have literally taken $1,000 and been damn near a millionaire by the end of it.
We went over that in another room we were in too, and we had one guy that was in it. In the 00 space again, and we did the math on it from the time it was. I mean, it's like $500,000, whatever. Some people were a little bit more than that, and I did pretty well in it myself. Again, catching it, pretty early. I was in at like 2 cents.
Yeah,
I bought in at 2 cents, and I think I had some more around 26 cents. I added more, and then again, it made that move along with what was the other stock? I can't think of it right. It'll come to me. There's another marijuana stock at that time that just they kind of correlated, then they took off with the sector. So after it kind of died down again, a la Income Jeff Sessions,
yeah,
I kind of moved towards, going towards just, the basic penny stock values in terms of anything that's, publicly traded on NASDAQ, NYSE, MX, or whatever, under that, within that, inside the double digit side to, to up to like $6, $7, whatever, just kind of focus in there.
Right.
But what I noticed in that moment, again, just being a more of a, Robinhood day trader in itself, I was finding, insurmountable amounts of values of success because I was, super excited about, again, getting to the information early, right? As you see in the OTC market, you have to be really good at the market because, it can get a little rough down there if you don't know what you're doing.
Yep.
Right? Companies go out of business before you know it. You're like, oh, there's my bag.
You're blanking, you got a 50% haircut at that point.
Right. So again, that was just exciting, just the idea of that. And so my journey really kicked off fully at that moment. I knew, so, I come from a marketing background, did international marketing for a company called Smart Circle. I did logistical broker information before for a freight company. Again, used to be military myself, prior military myself. So I had a plethora of different skills and things that, that I already brought to the table from a more seasoned, if you want to call it a seasoned person coming in with a different mindset.
Right.
I figured, hey, well, if you think about it, it's retail investors, obviously against the big boys, so to speak.
Yep.
And, I think it's incumbent of us that we, circle our wags the same way they circle theirs, and we utilize the proper value of a think tank in terms of a Discord. A la income, we trade HQ. Obviously I met Bradley himself. He'll tell you, through another Discord.
Yeah. We won't talk about it.
Right. But ultimately, again, we saw value, in the opportunity.
Yeah.
And Bradley went on to obviously do something great, which he's offering right now to you guys at We Trade HQ, which is phenomenal. Him and Jake. And so, again, I just saw value in that because he's always been an upstanding, gentleman. And I can see that he has a passion for it. So aligning myself with this opportunity here, just like, through the roof. And I appreciate all you guys too in the Discord. I see you guys from time to time here. Some of you guys in other Discord rooms as well. But I think you guys really understand the power and the nature of this. This is a great opportunity.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the kind words, man. I think for me, and we touched on this a little bit, I'm not so concerned about the money part of it, about, obviously I've always wanted to build a business. I've always had that entrepreneur mindset, and of course I want it to be successful. But for me, it's not necessarily about the money. It kind of goes into the power and profit, but we want to profit, but there's that power too. And part of that is just being able to leave a legacy behind. Like if something happened to me tomorrow, God forbid, that I want to at least leave my mark on this earth, that I was able to change people, in some sort of positive fashion. Am I a perfect person? Absolutely not. Am I going to make mistakes? Of course, I already have. So, but the thing is that you learn from that, and it's how you pick yourself up from that failure and move forward is really how you're going to succeed. And that can be applied to just about anything in life, but it really does apply to trading. Every time you lose, every time you take an L, right, you got something that it's a learning experience. I don't know if you follow Jocko Willink, but I always have sometimes behind me the phrase good. And the one of his podcasts that I put on, he's always talking about anytime there's some crazy situation going on, well, that's good. It gives you opportunity to learn or grow or to change your direction for the better, So I love stuff like that, and so that was the whole purpose of me being able to build We Trade HQ and have it be bigger than any one person, because it's a community. It's a community of people who want to learn and succeed, and so that's why we did what we did, and our vision's in line with Willis and African Emporium, and he's been a great presence within the community. I really like to see more people in that main chat with you. You're there all the time. So if you guys, and by the way, I see you guys chatting it up. If you have any questions that you want to ask Willis as well, whether it's stock related or just about Willis himself, feel free to ask away. Some really good engagement tonight, so I like to see it, guys. So I guess, what was the next question I was going to ask you? Oh, what was your best trade? I always like to ask people. So what was your best trade? We'll go with your best trade, and then maybe your worst trade and how you were able to learn from that.
Okay. I would say, I think I know without doubt my best trade was CHFS. And I say it's my best because I've had actually more. I've had some where I've actually, was able to accrue more income or more profit out of those. But this one was my first one that I actually had the kind of game that really, set in motion my mindset to say that, if I can do this, I'm pretty sure anyone else can as well. And it was a trade I took back in November of last year. CHFS was the ticker symbol. I forgot what the catalyst was, but anyway, the stock came from like $6 or $7, and it ran all the way up to like $21. And this one I was still kind of dabbling in my Robinhood scenario more or less than I am now, like I used to. But
yeah,
either way, like always, I was ahead of the news. I shared it with other people, so other people was able to get in on it as well. And I say that again, I've made more money on other ones as well, but this one was more significant because not only did I do well on it myself, I actually took it long and also shorted it, but the idea that I was able to help other people get into it, and they made money. And the one thing about that one particular trade, I know it's I'm going somewhere with, so bear with me, guys.
Okay.
It was one gentleman who was in actually the Discord room that me and used to be in, Bradley, I got to say it. But he also got the tip from me as well, and I was like, hey, this is this thing. He kept asking questions. Turned out this guy was literally I think about a week away from having his lights cut off. He had a newborn baby.
Oh my God.
Yep, he was using a little bit of last he had left to trade the market, try to catch him a good opportunity because he was really he was all in, kind of that kind of stare. And we don't necessarily know what everybody's going through
Right.
day over day and what their situation is, and it didn't resonate with me to after the fact when he came back, and you could tell that he was really choked up about it. Tough dude, but it's like, man, you don't know what you did, man. You actually saved me. You saved my family another day. And that trade, you gave me the tip, the entry, all this stuff, and why this, that, and third. I know I asked you a lot of questions, but not only did I benefit from it, but it changed my whole perspective, about trading and investing.
Yeah.
And from that moment, I said, you know what? See, this is why I know it's bigger than me. It's bigger than just one trade. It's more to it when you see it from this average, everyday people who are trying to find a way to be better and take care of themselves, so to speak. And so from that moment, I said, you know what, this trade goes down in history for me, because who would ever thought that way? My goal is like, hey, I just want to share information. That was always my mentality. I want to help, I want to be a part of the fold. And
right.
Then, you share something with me that I can benefit from. And in that moment, it helped him, majorly. I get majorly to put food on his table because they pay his rent off that trade, take care of that bill he needed. And, that kind of reinvigorated him to want to go a bit harder, And he's like, this is why I know I need to step my game up. And so, again, for me, that was the trade. And I still have the screenshot, of that trade myself, the profit I made off that trade. But that was like a $17,000 trade for me.
Wow, that's amazing. And you know what, man? Like, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, brother. Like, it just to be able to help somebody out like that person's going to remember you for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
That person's going to, they're not going to, and people aren't going to remember you for your biggest trade, but I really like that you went there with it. That, maybe, I don't know if it was your biggest trade monetarily or not, but like,
it wasn't, but again,
that's beside, like, metaphorically, that was your biggest trade because of how you were able to make impacts because of it. And I love that. I absolutely love that. When I get direct messages, like one of my favorite direct messages about how I was able to help somebody succeed in this crazy and wild market, they were able to afford to fly their family from overseas to have them come over back to the States just in time for Christmas. And they weren't able to do that unless they were able to trade and make profitable trades doing so. And so, like, when I got a message like that spoke volumes to me. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is why I'm doing it. And that in and of itself is way more exciting than the biggest dollar value win you could probably ever have. So I love that a lot. All right, so let's get to the worst one. What was the worst trade you ever made?
Worst trade I ever had was, gosh, I have the screenshot for that one too. Really, I wish I had all this stuff queued up where I could,
yeah,
the specifics. But again, you never forget when you had that,
Oh yeah.
scenario. But man, I have to dig it up. But worst scenario of all time that you can even imagine too, because again, it caught me totally off guard. When we say it's important that you be, free from any kind of distractions, things of that nature, because again, you're concentrating on, nanoseconds, so to speak.
Right.
Because again, every tick matters, So people always ask me, like, man, how do you trade with the 133 tick chart? I say, well, because I like to see everything in real time action. It's like the Neo and the Matrix thing. Slow the market down, start seeing the ones and zeros. You can see what's happening here.
Right.
So in that moment, I'm trading on the 133 tick chart, and for all intents and purposes of being in the right place at the right time, the unthinkable thing happened. In the sense, and I was actually trading that day. I had my son with me. One of the days he was home, he was sick. No, at the time he wasn't sick. I had to go get him. Actually, that's what it was. And I got a call from the care center saying, hey, he's sick, obviously as a parent, you're like, oh man, and so initially what I did, I considerably thought I had, stopped the trade right there, because again, it's like, when they call, it's like, hey, it's an emergency kind of scenario,
Right.
And all thinking just goes out the window. And next thing you know, I'm thinking I set the trade, the stop loss, on the trade, the cap in this case, it goes against it because I was up actually in the trade, like roughly about $3 or $4 grand. And it turns out I didn't do that. So instantly I jumped up, ran, upstairs, let me grab, what I need to kind of, go get him from the daycare, since I got to drive and actually on the military installation to get him. Turns out I didn't have that stop loss set where I thought it did, and which was going to lock me in profit if the trade came against me. But long story short, I went all the way down to Fort Lee. Just didn't even think about it because I was like, hey, the thing was good. When I walked the door, I was still, still pretty good in the trade. I said, oh, good, okay, great. If it comes back, it'll stop me out. I'm fine.
Right.
Come back. Turned out it didn't set. It wasn't set. At the wrong perimeter. I didn't go through it and double check it because of the fact that, again, I thought I was good because I was doing it all the same time I was on the phone. Anyway, came back. I was down around about 13,000.
Oh my gosh, that's that's terrible. That's terrible.
That one, I swallowed that one, and trust me, it hurt me for a long time.
I was gonna say that's one to learn from.
Yeah,
set them stop losses, man.
Right. Double check them.
Double check, triple check, yeah.
Because I'm like, man, my child, my son. What's matter? That mattered more to me than anything.
Right.
And a good thing I had profit within that moment in that count to buffer, even though no one wants to lose something like that.
Yeah.
In no state or whatever, but again, that was a good learning lesson for me at that point. And so. The lesson in this for you guys that's listening in the YouTube world there in the back chat is that, again, every moment in this market is a learning experience. And, there's no, finite value to this stuff. There's no, absolutes in this. And even though we have fail-safe mechanisms like a stop loss or trailing stop, this, that, and the third, it all still boils down to you and how well you double back and double check yourself. You go through checks and balances, things of that nature, because in a moment like that, again, I would have never expected that to happen to me. I wouldn't have expected that to happen to anyone, I hope. But I learned a lot in that loss. So as upset as I was hurt by it too. I was like, man, I was on the road. But at that time, again, it wasn't, I was doing really good. I had the 17,000 win. I was building. This is when I first actually started trading. I got the count up to roughly like about $36,000. In less than maybe about a week and a half.
Wow. And you almost cut it in half.
You're right. I'm like, man, this is the life. They got, they gave me this, this leverage account here. It's on now.
Right.
Coming from the penny world, so this was an upgrade. And again, so that was a eye-opening moment for me. And I said, you know what, you have to get, more astute at compartmentalizing. You need to learn how to balance your emotion value better.
Oh yeah, that's the toughest part.
Exactly. You can't plan for something like that. But again, in that moment, I knew. I said, you know what? Okay, that could benefit him in the event something else was to happen. He's already there at this point. It's nothing that I could do until I can get to him.
Right.
So I'm supposed to really thinking about it from that perspective is supposed to just, let me do this real quick. I think I'm good. Let me jump up and run upstairs. No, focus on this right here, and then I'll make sure you're good. And again, but that was it. So from that point on, so you know what? When I got into the mentor and the teaching, I said, you know what? This is why I want to focus on psychology, emotions, things of that nature that matters from the fundamental perspective, because every trader has those moments at some point. Anything can happen, but again, how well prepared you are, that will determine, if you are, you can walk away from the battlefield, come back the next day, not bruised as bad. So
yeah, and I mean, like that's so true. And the thing is, though, is Willis, is like we're trying to teach you guys to be the minority when it comes to that, because you could almost like just say, for example, the trade that I highlighted you on last week was Tesla. Yeah. You could have almost guaranteed that Tesla was going to drop when they announced that they were cutting employees. Nobody looks deeper down the surface to see that was for the betterment of the company, but on the surface, it's like, oh, people are losing jobs. That's bad. So, yeah, heck yeah, I'm gonna short it, because I know exactly what's gonna happen, because the majority of people are gonna react emotionally. So then you can short the heck out of it, and really cover that short whenever you want, because I think you shorted at what 260, 265 or somewhere around there.
It was 340-ish somewhere.
Well, and it dropped below 300 now, right?
Right, and I held into it because some of you guys didn't know how to trade. Again, I used the approach where I don't like to fight with the market, but I have to. So if I find that one asset that is either bleeding out, or it's in a good channel and it's trending up, there's no need to close out the entire position if you don't have to. Right. So I do believe in, again, utilizing the momentum at that point, especially when we have like death crosses and all this stuff and gold cross and all this stuff, and wherever the sentiment of the market is shifting. Well, if you trade it smartly, that one asset can pay you, consistently over time if you learn how to trade it properly.
Yep.
And lo and behold, when you do, it's like the snowball effect. When it rains, it pours, right? And lo and behold, that wasn't, the end point of Tesla. Not only did we have a market that started rolling over in the SPY because it got extended,
yep.
Also had sell side pressure. Then come another catalyst. Then come the downgrade today, right? And come the downgrade, which we know Tesla's one of those very finicky stocks. It's a hit or miss. Everybody's betting on it, but everybody's scared of it.
Right.
So, and today another downgrade. I still have some shares left in it because again, I'm riding the momentum till it shakes me out. Got another big Christmas present, in January.
Yeah, because what happened? They slowed production by 5% or something like that, so then it drove it down even more. So you'd already been shorting up in the $300 range, and now then it just tanked even more. That's icing on the cake for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just it, guys. So like, what you want to try to do is to not go with the flow of everybody else in the stock market. I don't mean to like to literally say that, but like, let's just say that you're getting into shorting or something along those lines, or maybe you don't like shorting at all and you're just trading bigger board stocks or what have you. The natural reaction is to emotionally let fear creep in, and then that what we try to show people is being able to capitalize on that fear. So the initial reaction for people who are primarily uneducated in how things work here, as far as the stock market's concerned, like you kind of want to be ahead of that curve. And so that's exactly what Willis did with that trade with Tesla, is that he knew how the majority of people were going to react. So then he took upon himself to just short that because it was almost a no-brainer. And really the way that Tesla has been reacting over the dumbest news, like the whole when he was on Joe Rogan and he smoked weed on Joe Rogan. I covered that over the summertime, and it tanked like 10%, and then 3 days later it came right back because everybody was reacting emotionally, and it was like I don't know. It blows my mind how that stock is finicky, like you said, but it lends itself for so many opportunities for you to either make money one way or the other. I mean, you could short it, you could just play it regular. It's just that's definitely one stock that you could probably just make a career out of, I would think.
I agree, and that's basically what I did because and one thing about me, when I lay out a short thesis about a stock, again, those who know me know me. I'm a maniac. I'm a nerd in my own right when it comes to data. I'm a data freak. I call myself a data hound because again, being in the know is so much more lucrative in this industry as opposed to trying to feel and guess your way through the market.
Yeah.
I know it sounds weird to say that, but again, a lot of people kind of miss that because they're comfortable in having the scanner do all the work or having a tip get them to get them to the opportunity. I'm more or less I want to know what caused it. What's the underlying fact, values behind it, the factors behind it. What's the fundamental aspect of it? And once you learn these assets, what you start building a collection of understanding. The market is all one big pattern, one big trend.
Yep.
Right. And stocks are cyclical in their own right, where some of them pick up during certain times of the year, as others don't. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys have been trading well over a year or so. We all know about the infamous dries, right? We know that when dries make that move and went parabolic, supernova, Jupiter, whatever.
All those shipping stocks, yeah. Tops, exactly. I think did the same thing.
Yeah, and so you start thinking, okay, well, when does the shipping stocks start to run? Or around the end of October, November, start looking at shipping stocks. They pick up then obviously into December, whatever, certain parts. So you start to learn how to parallel this thing because again, we're constantly looking at previous performances, 52-week charts. What was it doing at 52-week point? Here's it is today. It's kind of back in that same channel here. Oh, here we go. We might have some action here. So again, that's what it is, pattern recognition based at the end of the day. And I began to see that with Tesla the same way in a lot of ways. And now it's like I've traded a lot so many times. I've done so well off of it. I kind of know when the news is substantial and when it's just fluff, and then when it's just, just that, the third. So that helps you become a better trader too,
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Okay, so last question, and then we'll go ahead and cut it there. So I thought that your explanation when we were talking earlier before we went live, your explanation of the difference between what a guru actually is, which we all know has a pretty negative connotation for most people who are looking for guidance within the stock market, and then an actual mentor. So I want you to kind of like explain to our folks, because I love the way that you explained it, what the difference is between an actual guru and a mentor, which is what we're trying to do.
Right. And so if I can kind of put it in the framework where you guys understand it, you've been approached by people who said, this person's a guru, stay away from him, and this, that, and the third. And, my mentality is, again, for the understanding it, there's always a niche or a niche market for everyone. Even for the quote unquote gurus.
Yeah.
Because they're still offering a product or service that someone is interested in and some value, right? And so whatever people spending money on is indicative to what they find value in, regardless of whether you may see like that's not a good buy. All right. It's like buying great value ice cream and going to Ben and Jerry's, right? It's great value, man. But yeah, man, but it's, right. So in the aspect of what we consider to be gurus and mentors, the difference of the mentor is it's more of an individual experience, a relationship. It's more, I have your best interest in mind. It's more so, as Brad said earlier, we've all heard this saying, let me teach you how to fish, and not, just give you a shell of information that you figured out on your own. I want to help you unpack this information. I want to dissect this market the best I know, share it with you, build on your strengths. Let's not focus on your weaknesses, and then allow, that to be the couch to take it to the next level. And, what we all know at this point in the game, excuse me, I got this thing on, as mentors, trainers, or whatever, is that the greatest thing that we can offer to you guys is clarity, and within that, if we would have had that, a lot of us had that when we first started, it would have exponentially shortened our learning curve a heck of a lot.
Oh yeah.
Than learning the hard way or the long way. So and me and Brett was speaking earlier before we came on. That's what's so important about having a good mentor. And someone that really has your best interest in mind. So again, it's not so much about the dollar. Again, if you take a scenario where you're saying, well, okay, well, you guys, charging, it's only like breaks down like $1 a day, for office, what I offer, whatever. Yep. It's not so much just trying to get rich off people. Although again, I do want to be, compensated for my time, like anyone would.
Right.
Who would want that? But at the end of the day, what you do, you find out that average everyday people, like the gentleman I spoke about earlier, that was going through that with his family. He didn't have the money to buy a scanner. He didn't have money to do all that. He was on his last leg, actually.
Right.
And who would have knew? Again, that was his callous. So again, in that moment, that really invigorated me more from the aspect of training, mentoring, because again, I was doing workshops outside of this before I came here, and I still do. But it's like, what? Hey, you was in this boat at some point too. The most valuable thing you offer someone now is the opportunity for them to get in the game in a way where they can benefit them in the long run, so to speak. And being able to meet them on a personal level, that's what's most important about this. And I'm not saying that those guys don't, these so-called gurus don't, or whatever. Right. But what I witness here again with Brad and the rest of the guys, and again, I'm still getting to know Kiko and the rest of the family here, and Latoya and Aaron and them. Is that you can see there's a very family-oriented environment here. And that was one of the things that really got me excited about wanting to be a mentor here when I was, really pondering the idea, because again, I've been approached by other people to do trainings and get with their team and this, that, the third, and not that someone special, because I'm not. Y'all know me as African Emporium. I will always be that. With peers, though, you're never gonna hear me run around acting like I'm some bad, guru, this, that, the third. Right. Because again, at the end of the day, your performance will speak for you. No matter how much I talk, your performance still has to speak for you in this game, and the market will actually spit you up and chew you out if you're not doing it. And so that's what matters at the end of the day, and how well you're being able to disseminate information and also receive it. Yep. So for me, again, that's what this, the light bulb went off for me, from that perspective. So this is what mentoring is all about. The opportunity, again, like the gentleman, the scenarios that I'm sure Brad encounters every day when he's going through his session with you guys. The questions that you guys asked, the breaking down of the data, the information, that's what's so great about it, because it's personal information. Personal and the aspect that we're dealing with each other.
Right. The personal interaction.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, man. Like I just love the way that you think. I love your thought process, and you're such a humble dude. And I could talk to you all night, but. and I'm sure we'll have you on again. It's just been an awesome experience, guys. You had a treat tonight if you were able to tune in. And if you're tuning in later, you're going back and watching this live stream at a later date, I will leave the links in the description for you to join African Emporium, a.k.a. Willis, his mentorship. He goes live with folks on Sunday nights, right? Sunday nights?
Yeah, we're working on that. It's Sundays, and I'm trying to do it throughout the middle of the week. Now, that's my thing now with the guys. Trying to establish a good, time frame to do this, because I understand when traders are, kind of active and want to trade the market,
right,
or they're
right.
focusing on the market, it's kind of right during the market hours.
Yeah.
But although I do feel like those who are serious about wanting, to get ahead of the game, they'll spend that Saturday or that Sunday, which, I would suggest everyone do that anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it gets you prepared for the week and everything. So, so then go ahead and check them out. It literally costs less than $1 a day to get some good guidance and a mentorship from Willis. And again, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Willis, thank you so much for your time and spending with me this evening. If you guys are interested, again, the links will be in the description. And if you just want to join our free platform, our free community, it's called We Trade HQ. Our Discord chat is in the link is in the description as well. I highly encourage you to check that out. We have over 2,600 members. We've been growing like wildfire lately, so it's been really awesome to see. And so just check us out. I encourage you to just kind of give us a chance. So if you're joining me for the first time, hopefully you enjoyed this. There'll be more of this type of stuff to come. I'm trying to keep it on a weekly basis. So you guys have been really receptive to that and really love this kind of stuff. So I'll keep it going. So subscribe and you'll get notified every time I do so. And like this if you really appreciated Willis's time and the content that we covered tonight. So with that, guys, as always, I will see you all before the bell. And B. Smith is out. Take it easy, guys.
Power of profit, everyone.
Yep, power of profit.